We're back with aviation analyst Michael Boyd and Hussein Ibish of the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee. We're talking about profiling of airline passengers. Profiling that I might say I believe is really just intelligence gathering. Before the break, Mr. Ibish maintained that despite the fact that most of the terrorist bombers were Saudis, we should not be concerned, or we should not take any exceptional intelligence care for Saudis boarding planes. I'm afraid, with all respect, I couldn't disagree more. I want to bring Michael Boyd in here. Mr. Boyd, it seems to me, you know, profiling is one of these odd buzzwords, ACLU, constitutional rights. In a war, we need information. We need intelligence. Part of that war is right here at home. We've learned that tragically the hard way. I don't have anything to hide. You don't have anything to hide. If somebody wants to look in, let them look in. So what do you think? Shouldn't we be doing, if anything, more of this intelligence gathering right now during this crisis?
Well, that's intelligence gathering. That's fine. If intelligence gathering is not going after someone just because their name is Muhammad. But one of the challenges we're facing now is understanding, yes, this current threat may come from the Middle East, but there's other threats out there, and that's why our airports aren't any more secure than they were on 9/11, because we haven't really focused on the total issue of security, which may be the Middle East, it could be from Asia, who knows where, or could be from New Jersey, for crying out loud. The point is, we're trying to focus on the wrong things. And let me just say this about the incident with the Secret Service agent. That American Airlines captain should be lauded for his or her courage. I've talked to a number of captains and found out that sometimes the documentation isn't exactly right. And when a gun's on board, as one captain told me, all bets are off. And I know that that captain probably thought, if I deny boarding to this one specific person, it's going to be accusations of racism. So I think it was a problem with paperwork, and I think that captain did the right thing, and I think we need to look beyond the ethnicity of the person involved.
Well, I agree with you about the captain's act was an act of, well, doing his duty. It's a heroic act.
Well, absolutely.
I also,
you think you know what you meant.
Let me just make this point, Mr. Ibish. Let me just make this
point.
All
right, sorry.
It's actually going to be partially in defense of some of your indefensible views, and that is the following. I am concerned. You mentioned the Middle East. I believe you, Mr. Boyd, said New Jersey. I'm actually concerned about terrorists coming in from across our southern border. I'm particularly worried about narco-terrorism in Central, Latin, and South America. So my point is a little different point. Rather than racial profiling, I want to have total profiling. In other words, I believe right now, if we have the resources to do it, as pain in the neck as it is, we all have to be subjected to this kind of information gathering. Mr. Ibish, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think that that's certainly preferable to anything that's discriminatory, but I mean, obviously you want to strike a balance. I agree with you. There has to be better security, and that I agree that everyone who's flying ought to willingly subject themselves to a pretty rigorous security measures. I'm happy with that. I fly. I want to be safe from you. You want to be safe from me. I don't pose a bigger threat to you because I'm of Arab ethnicity, but I agree. We should all be willing to submit to heightened levels of security. There's no problem with that.
Well, Mr. Ibish, I want to go back to this point. Maybe, again, I plead guilty to the notion that I'm focused on 9/11. I think that our country is at war with terror. There is a description that many of these people look like. Yeah. It seems as if we can ask those people who look like that there's no constitutional right not to be asked a series of questions because you look the way you are. If the government there is no constitutional right. And what I'm trying to figure out is, in an era of limited resources where we don't have the machines yet to screen, what do you think we should do?
Well, I think you use the normal law enforcement techniques of trying to see who might pose a threat, given their behavior, given their background, given their travel plans, given all kinds of other things. If you make ethnicity the primary marker, I think you're going to end up squandering resources, and you're going to end up doing things like excluding people from airplanes who turn out to be Secret Service agents and congressmen.
Well,
and by the way, I'd like to point something out, which is I'm of Arab ethnicity. If it's going to be based on appearance, I don't think you're going to be able to single me out in a profile. A lot of this doesn't make sense. It's based on a stereotype that really is not going to prove to be very accurate. And I think what's necessary is the hard-slogging police work that's going to actually produce security for everyone.
All right, Mr. Ibish, I'm going to have to cut you off there, but I want to thank you. I want to thank Mr. Boyd. Terrific to have you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
That's it for tonight's program. What can I say?
Stay tuned for Hardball with Chris Matthews. We'll be back tomorrow night, same time, same place, same good stuff.
Good